Welcome into K-State Online. I'm Mason Voth. That is Drew Galloway here on a Monday. Normal abodes for both of us. August 4th, we are 19 days away from kickoff between K-State and Iowa State in the Aer Lingus College Football Classic. I don't know if you're still in the process where you could make the decision right now to go to Ireland in 19 days. If you are, cats2ireland.com, travel, ticket, hospitality info, all that. And they'll have good information there if you're like, I don't know what to do. I don't have any friends. I just know that I'm going to the game. Cats2ireland.com will help you find friends. It won't make friends for you. It'll help you find them, though.
If you're still in the process, God, I hope that you have a passport, and I hope that you have a lot of money, because I would imagine that ticket prices for like a plane ride right now probably a lot more expensive than they were a long time ago.
Passports overrated unless K-State decides to play a game in Ireland. Today we've got more of a fun show for you. So if you hate fun when you watch the KSO show, turn it off now. There you go. I'm giving you your warning. We're going to play a new game. Then we're going to play a game that's also fairly new, but, recently new, with Beat the Media Guide at the end with Drew to close out shop. But
I got to do better than I did the last two
times. I gave you a
times.
tough one the last try.
The last two times you've given me tough categories.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about all Big Six players from, the 1940s. Anyways, first game we're going to play today, it's a grand creation, Drew. It's called Ball Knower, Ball Oblivious. Everybody likes a good game where you have a black or white type of answer, an either or. I wanted to do this for a couple of reasons. There are some things that have come out today that are positive press for K-State football, and then there are people that I think are neglecting how good K-State is going to be this season. So the task at hand is you tell me if this person is a ball knower, it means they are smart, they are correct, or if they are ball oblivious, which is the antonym term that Grok gave me when asking what is the opposite of a ball knower. Well, apparently it's ball oblivious, which there were a couple others. They were pretty lame. So I wanted to see, okay, here we go. I want to take the goofy one, which is ball oblivious. Funny to say to me. So we've got 5 that I'm going to throw your way today. You're going to tell me not just if they're a ball knower or ball oblivious, but you're also going to explain to me why that's the case. Let's start with a little softball for you right here, because, he works it on 3, so he's already got a good chance of being a ball knower. Mr. Brett McMurphy, just hot out of the gates. His first AP poll as an on-3 worker, it will be with K-State at number 13. That is the highest ranked Big 12 team in Brett McMurphy's AP top 25 ballot that he will submit. And I imagine we get that next Monday at 10 o'clock. So we'll have another fresh look at the polls for you. If you want some other notables about what you're going to see on Brett McMurphy's, who's around K-State, Texas A&M is a spot ahead of them at 12. SMU, 1 spot behind at 14. Then some teams immediately after, Florida at 15, Illinois at 16. Second highest Big 12 team is Utah at 17, OU at 18, Tennessee at 19, Arizona State at 20. Also has Texas Tech at 23 in this top 25. So, Drew, Brett McMurphy, ball knower or ball oblivious?
I love that there's only 2 answer choices in this. I'm going to say I will say ball knower for Brett McMurphy.
Okay. Are you suggesting that next week I make it ball knower, ball neutral, or ball oblivious?
No, I like only having 2, like just 2 answer choices, and then you got to decide, because I lean more towards ball knower with Brett McMurphy, because there's some stuff in this that I do really like. Well, like I like having Arizona State kind of closer to 20. I might not be a ball knower, but I would have K-State maybe like a couple spots lower, maybe like in that 15-ish range.
Oh, so you're saying Brett's actually ball oblivious because he has K-State too high?
No, but then there's some stuff that I do like. Like, he is one of the people that is the lowest on the Illinois hype machine. I like that he doesn't have Texas Tech super high, because there's some polls, they're like the most like you're either one extreme or the other on where you are in some of the polls is like where Texas Tech is. I like that he still only has Indiana at 24. Again, but then there's some stuff that I don't like. Again, like it might be a little too rich for Utah right now. Like I have K-State playing Utah in the Big 12 championship game, but I don't know if I would have Utah that high to start the year. They're kind of a team that I need to prove it, and then same with Oklahoma. But I lean towards Baltimore because there's a lot of stuff on here that I like, but there's some stuff on here that like I would maybe go down like 1 or 2 spots. Also, Brett Murphy, one of the only preseason top 25 polls that I've seen that has more than 3 Big 12 teams. So like I appreciate that as like Big 12 people.
All right. Well, we have breaking news. We have another ball knower, ball oblivious category that's come in. Drew Galloway for saying that Brett McMurphy has K-State too high and would put them at number 15 or something. So I'm going ball oblivious on that one.
You know, it's more of I like when K-State is like in that 15 to 20 range and they feel like disrespected. 13 just feels like, oh, we're in for it. Like right now, let's go for it.
Well, you want disrespect. Let me grab you some disrespect. The coaches today, those big dumb idiots, released their coaches poll via USA Today. K-State number 20 in the preseason coaches poll. 9 spots behind Arizona State, who is the highest ranked Big 12 team. So they are at number 11. I think based off what I saw here, coaches versus Brett McMurphy, and then like Joel Klatt, the media is having a much different perception of college football at the beginning of the year. Where do you go with the college football coaches? This is closer to what you wanted. You would rather have K-State be lower, apparently. You think they're not very good this season. So where do you – oh, by the way, the coaches, K-State, I would disagree at 20. I think they should be higher. There are things far worse than K-State in this top 25. We'll get to that, though. Your call, though. Ball knower, ball oblivious, college football coaches.
Ball oblivious. Arizona State's probably a little too high, again, for my taste. You know, the egregious one on here, though, is like, why is BYU at 23? Like, we don't know who BYU is going to have at quarterback, but they're still at 23. Indiana ahead of K-State, I don't agree with. I mean, I'm okay that there's more Big 12 teams than I anticipated in the coaches poll. So like that is a step in like a good direction, I guess. But like there's a lot of stuff that I don't really agree with on this poll. So they're probably more ball oblivious than knowing. Like even Tennessee at 18, I think is too high.
Yeah, the coaches are kind of half ball knowers, I would say, with this one, where, you know, hey, respect for putting this many, you know, Big 12 teams in. But also, you just tucked them all down at 20, 21, 23, and 24. So, I mean, that's not necessarily total respect. Like Indiana higher, no. Indiana won't even be in the top 25 come the end of the year. That's where I'd go with this.
They might because their schedule's bad again.
Well, okay. Well, I thought Big Ten was supposed to be tough. What's the deal here? I would say that they are ball oblivious, and here's why I say they're ball oblivious. You know who has a vote in the coaches poll this year, Drew?
Most coaches.
Well, Chris Klieman doesn't have one. Lance Leipold, head coach at Kansas, sound like an inside job to you?
It could be.
The coaches also didn't have Utah in the top 25, which I respect, actually. So here's what I'm going to say. In regards to K-State, the coaches do not know ball. At large in college football, I actually would side with the coaches here. And I would say that they are ball knowers. So, you know, it's like when the kid that you don't like makes you laugh in school. You're like, you really piss me off, but props. Or, you know, sometimes when a burner account on Twitter does have an occasional actual like clever and funny tweet, you go, all right, well, I hate that I have to give props and respect to that. So that's where this sits for me for the coaches, but K-State's better than the 20th best team in the country right now. So
yeah, they're like when I said that I would rather have them like 15 or something. They're closer to 15 than 20.
That's still not the thing. It's if they were closer to 13.
And like
knock them down a peg.
And I also don't think that Arizona State is 9 spots better than K-State.
No.
Or 9 spots better than like anybody in the Big 12 in general.
Those teams, K-State and Arizona State, I think should be stacked on top of each other. Both teams that bring back a lot that make them really deadly, and then also enough major departures to where the question marks would linger, and you'd say there might be some adjustment period that needs to take place here. I think they're pretty similar. I do think, at least from how I've evaluated the offseason, I think they are the clear-cut 2 best teams in the Big 12. But I don't know. We'll see. Let's get on to another one. Joel Klatt of Fox Sports, Drew, the lead analyst for college football. He's got K-State at number 15 in his preseason top 25. Highest-ranked Big 12 team. He may not be a ball knower. You might leave your wife for him since he's got K-State at 15. He might be ball knower, ball oblivious Drew Galloway's next spouse. What do you think of Joel Klatt and the Cats at 15?
I mean, I'm with K-State at 15, as we've pointed out. But like, I mean, with every poll, there is no perfect polls. Like, there's even things in the Joel Klatt poll that I don't really agree with. Like that. That's what makes polls so fun. Is like, for every like one thing you're like, oh, if they were really cooking here, there's like 2 that you're like, holy crap, what do you see here?
Well, this is kind of like my whole take on dipping into the world of politics here, where as somebody that just, goes my own way, does what I think, I go this way some, I go that way some. It always amazes me is that the people that are really hardcore into it, like the political talk show people, they never can fathom that their side might be wrong on a few things. Like, I understand you're not going to give in on something, but you don't think like, oh, well, actually there are probably some things that the other side is correct about. And this is evidence because you have to get 25 answers correct in these polls, and you're just never going to go 25 for 25. Like, it's not possible on something that is subjective and is done before you have any, results to go off of it. And that's kind of the thing I think, with the Joel Klatt. Here's what I like about it. Joel is a ball knower, respect. K-State top ranked Big 12 team. I think he's got his grouping of teams kind of correct here too.
Yeah.
Where like, I think you see 11 through 20 is South Carolina, Miami, Illinois, Florida, K-State, Texas A&M, Indiana, Arizona State, Texas Tech, and Iowa State. He also has Baylor and Utah at 23-25. 18, 19, 20, those teams stacked on top of each other, I think is fair. And I think the argument could be made that you could have K-State and that group of Big 12 schools higher than like Florida, Illinois, and Miami. You could also, make the argument you could slide K-State back, I guess, to where Drew would rather have them at like 17.
There's
all 4 of them there. Like, they're not that dissimilar. They should be compared similarly.
They should all be compared pretty similarly. The thing that I would have with Klatt is, instead of having Indiana at 17, I would have all 3 of the Big 12 teams in Indiana at 20.
Yeah.
Like, that would make the most sense. Again, shout out to Joel Klatt. Didn't expect him to have 6 Big 12 teams in his top 25.
Well, yeah, you want to check out another Fox Sports personality, and this guy, he's kind of too cool to do 25 teams, Drew. He's far too smart to do 25. He keeps it to a tight 15. And keep in mind, he said this is not what he thinks going into the season. This is how he thinks the season is going to play out. So this is a preseason, end of season, top 15. I give you Timmy B's top 15, Drew, where the Cats are nowhere to be found. Mr. Tim Brando, who never has gotten a name correct in his life, has Iowa State at 8, Illinois at 10, Tulane at 11, Oklahoma at 12, and Arizona State at 15. There's a very good chance that one of the teams here, their coach is fired before they get to game 12. That'd be Oklahoma. And then you look around like, I mean, you think this Iowa State team is going to finish 8th in the country? Like,
Yeah, the answer
I think
here,
Iowa State's going to be a top 25 team this year, but this is not the team that's going to finish number 8 in the country.
the answer here is pretty obvious as ball oblivious. I'm really confused about what the hell was even going on in this poll. Like, I would love to live in a world where there can be 2 group of 5 teams and like a final 15. We are not in that world right now. I'm also not sure if Tulane is going to be like the group of 5 playoff team, because supposedly you go into the tweet or whatever, like the top 12 are all of his playoff teams, which I don't really understand. But that, like, there's a lot going on here that I am confused about.
He also didn't capitalize the S on Boise State for state or Iowa State or Penn State, but he did do it for Arizona State and Ohio State, which is weird.
But yeah, there's a lot going on here that I don't really fully grasp. And like, this is one where if you are going to do something like that, you can't just post that with no context and be like, yep, here's what I think is actually going to happen at the end of the season, but this is my preseason top 15.
He also, get this, Drew, he said that he put Tulane there because of Jake Retzlaff, which the Jake Retzlaff hype before all the stuff happened that caused him to leave BYU, I thought was getting a little out of control. Tulane had an even better quarterback last year than Jake Retzlaff. 10 out of 10 college football coaches would take Darian Mensah over Jake Retzlaff. And with Darian Mensah, they limped to a finish. They went 9-5 last year, and they lost their last 2 games by double digits to Memphis and Army. So they pissed down their leg with a chance to maybe sneak into the college football playoff as the highest rated G5 team if something had gone wrong with Boise State when they lost to Memphis. And then the very next week, they could turn around and still win their conference, and they got beat 35-14. And then they got smoked by Florida in their bowl game 33-8. Now, Mensah had already quit on them at that point. But, like, they had the better quarterback last year. They had a better team last year than what they're going to have this year. I still think Tulane will be good. The Retzlaff pickup was big for them. I think John Sumrall's a good coach. But, like, again, similar to Iowa State, now is not the year for this to be your pick.
If you're picking up a quarterback like 6 weeks before the season starts, that means that the ones that you have probably aren't any good.
Yeah.
And Tulane adding Retzlaff, sure, whatever. But like, it's not even like them losing Mensah. They lost their starting quarterback and their leading rusher from a year ago. And you really think they're going to finish in the top 12, Tim?
And, you know, some of those receivers that were good last year, like, yeah, I don't know. Blows my mind. Let's move on. Final ball knower or ball oblivious person to take a look at for you. Pete Mundo of Heartland College Sports ranked Avery Johnson 7th among Big 12 quarterbacks. Now, look, the Big 12, as we know, is loaded at quarterback this season. And I think you could argue to some extent the order of which some of the quarterbacks could go. What makes this list bad, and as Gabe Schwartz and I tried explaining to Alec Bussey earlier today, it's the order that you have some of these guys and the logic that you use. Avery Johnson at 7 is behind Jalen Daniels at 6, Baron Morton at 5, Sam Levitt at 4, Rocco Becht at 3, Sawyer Robertson at 2, and Josh Hoover at 1. So first, the simple question, Pete Mundo, ball knower or ball oblivious?
Ball oblivious, and it's not even just because of the Avery ranking. Like that
the Avery thing might be the least severe of that top 7, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it's wrong, but I think it's, you know, there are others that are more egregious.
Yeah. Sam Levitt at 4 is pretty egregious. Baron Morton at 5 is pretty bad. Play a full season and then come back to me, Texas Tech people that trying to gas up Baron Morton.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, my whole thing on these high volume offenses, it's like if you go back to when Bruce Weber was coaching K-State or something, and you're like, oh, let's just for the sake of this go and look at what the number was. How many points a game do you think Dean Wade averaged in the 2019 season?
Like probably 15 or so.
12.9
Yeah.
is what he averaged. The best player on the team, first team, all Big 12. Now let's go, and again, this is just off the fly. I thought of this, so it's it might take a second. Let's go look at to see the Big 12's leading scorers that season. Who was better, Dedrick Lawson or Dean Wade? Drew, who would you rather have?
Dean Wade.
Okay, Dedrick Lawson led the team in score, or led the conference in scoring that year at 19.4 per game. Would you Mariel Shayok or Dean Wade?
Still Dean Wade.
Mariel Shayok scored more a game though, 18.7. Kerwin Roach, Makai Mason, all scored more than Dean Wade. Christian James, Quat Noy, Alex Robinson, Cam McGriff, Devon Dotson, Brady Manick, Lindy Waters, Talon Horton Tucker, Thomas DeZagua. Actually, I would take Thomas DeZagua over. Like a bunch of these names up there that score the same amount or more than Dean Wade, you're not taking them over Dean Wade. And that's the thing with Josh Hoover is he is always on the field. In games against teams that won at least 6 games last year, TCU gave up over 40 points per game against those teams. He's always on the field. He is having to go blow for blow. And if you look at it, what killed him in that SMU game, they were committing turnovers left and right. Like, I think Josh Hoover is a good quarterback. He is not the best quarterback in the Big 12. He might have the best looking numbers and the best totals, but he's not the best quarterback. And then, the logic on Rocco Beck's not a better quarterback than Sam Leavitt. I've talked about this with Rocco Beck. I think he's a good quarterback. I think you're stupid in most situations if you said I'd rather take somebody else over Rocco Beck. But in the Big 12, there's a lot of good quarterbacks, and Sam Leavitt's behind Rocco Beck because of Cam Scadaboo, maybe. And he says that he's going to hold it against him. He said maybe it's not fair, but that's what he's doing. Well, he then also puts Rocco Beck ahead of him while even mentioning that he lost Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins, which that's a much more significant loss for Rocco Beck than Sam Leavitt losing his running back, I would suggest, because, I was able to see Sam Leavitt still make a lot of plays last year that didn't involve Cam Scadaboo, and he does bring back his 2 top targets in Tyson and Mateer. And then, we could really get into the weeds on the Baron Morton thing is ridiculous. He's probably more better fit for 7. And then I think at this stage of the game, I would put Avery Johnson ahead of Jalen Daniels. Like, I don't think that's much of a question to me. All these quarterbacks have flaws and have question marks, but the weighting of this didn't make a lot of sense to me. So, I go ball oblivious with you on this one. That's it. The whole list, once it gets to that top half, is pretty wrong.
Yeah, it's an easy ball oblivious just because of what you've said is like the logic just isn't there for all of those guys. Great comparison though, like going to like the points per game with teams that played faster in basketball to like what Josh Hoover does at TCU. I know a lot of NFL people in their talks, like they like to throw around the term like empty calorie yardage. Josh Hoover is like the king of that. Like, he gets a lot of yards, gets a lot of touchdowns, but TCU doesn't really win. And like, that's not necessarily his fault, but like, I don't know if I would take Josh Hoover over Sam Leavitt, Avery, Rocco Beck, maybe Sawyer Robertson.
So, for reference, to just go off of this, topic that we're on right here, with the comparison to kind of highlight the nature of this. Do you know who the highest scoring offense was in the Big 12 that season?
Do I?
It was Iowa State.
Yeah, that's what I
was gonna KU was second. So those 2 guys at the top had the 2 offenses that scored the most points in the Big 12 in 2019. Mariel Shayok accounted for almost 24% of the points that Iowa State put up in a game, about a quarter of it. So then if you go in, what did I say Dean Wade's total was? 12.9 that he was scoring out in that season. Like, it's that's where you can look at it and kind of go with you got, and this is why KSU fan has been so good with how he does things. By the way, K-State was the lowest scoring offense the year that they won the Big 12 in basketball. So yeah, like I just, that's one of those deals where I look at it and I say, it's not always about the flashy numbers, the simple numbers. It's, you kind of have to evaluate it as well. So that's something to keep in mind, is that the teams that score a lot more, or they're going to be on the field more, faster paced. Yeah, you're going to have more touchdowns. You're going to have more yards, but that doesn't mean it's going to be good. I mean, you can probably go and look at a lot of Avery Johnson games last year and suggest that there might be some lower output games that were better for him. Certainly, like one that would come to mind is that if you were just trying to assess how things went, is like they let him throw the ball 40 times against Houston and Arizona State. Well, those were his most pass attempts of the year, and they were his worst. But yardage-wise, he put up more yards in that game by over 100 than what he did against Cincinnati. He definitely played better against Cincinnati. Like he put up more yards against Arizona State. He was better than he was better in the Kansas game. Like all Colorado, only 224. Like,
yeah, that Colorado game, full game, taking into context what he did and like the plays that Avery made that needed to be made against Colorado, probably better than anything that Josh Hoover did last year.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing I'm thinking about the Dean Wade season as well. Like he had two other guys on that team that averaged right around the same number as him. Because I think Barry was maybe the leading scorer on that team. So I guess I should have asked you, Drew, would you have rather have had Barry Brown or Mariel Shayok?
Still probably Barry, but that one is closer.
Whoa, oh no, Drew. I mean, okay, well, I got to bring it up again. Ball nowhere, ball oblivious. Mariel Shayok over Barry Brown, all Big 12 first team, defensive player of the year in the league. Heart and soul of the Cats.
I love Barry, but like it might have just been because Shayok was so good against K-State. Yeah, every time that they played.
Yeah.
But like that is like what I'm thinking of right now, is like it's probably a little closer because of that.
What if I made the question Dedrick Lawson then?
Well, then that's not really a question. Like I'm looking at Josh Hoover here. His best statistical game came in against UCF, where he threw the ball 52 times. And they lost.
To one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah, and he had 402 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like a lot of his numbers are inflated because he threw the ball 40 or more times 4 times last season.
He also had 4 games last year with 2 picks. And those came in a 5-game stretch that he had.
I'm also looking at TCU again, just like from what they did last year. Man, weird season. Barely beat Stanford, who was terrible. Lost to UCF.
Lost to Houston.
Yeah, lost to Houston. Gave up 66 to SMU. Played a disgusting game, 13-7 against Utah.
And won. Like, and here's the thing. I would say that Josh Hoover probably played better in that game against Utah than he did in, whatever game you want to pick out. Like, I guess you could go with probably some of the wins, because he had some not great performances in some of the wins that they still did, but the yardage was there. And that's where I think people are going to get hung up on. Like, he puts up big numbers. There's no doubt about that. And I think he's good. But
fun game. Just I'm going to come across like as a big TCU hater, because I think that them and Baylor, kind of what they did last year, pretty inflated by the schedules that they played.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and by the way, Josh Hoover also loses a 1,000-yard receiver.
Okay, so Texas Tech, I think, is the clear and obvious best win that TCU had last year. Who is the second best team that they beat?
That TCU beat?
Mm-hmm. Is it KU, like, actually?
At the time of year in which they played them, no. I think it's probably Utah.
And that probably
it's probably Utah, and then Utah, and then KU, I would say, and then probably just the fact that, like, They dominated Arizona at home, but like
Everybody did.
they only won 20-13 at Cincinnati the week after we saw, K-State battered and broken and terrible last year, atrocious in November, beat the snot out of Cincinnati. And I watched that Cincinnati team. I was like, they're not good. Nobody on this team is good. And then TCU only won 20-13. So yeah, they're weird.
Weird year for TCU last year. Like they're a team that really needs to prove it to me that they are any good.
Well, this is just one of those situations where you kind of start to think to yourself, like, these conferences maybe should figure something out on the scheduling front to make it a little bit more uniform every year, just so you know and you can match up, because we're going to continue to go down this path where we see the imbalanced schedules make it difficult to I mean, you're going to have years with TCU where they won 9 games last year, and never once last year did I think TCU is a threat to anybody good in the league.
Like I have talked about at length this offseason that like Baylor could start 2-4.
Yeah.
TCU could also start with 3 losses. They could start 1-3, and I wouldn't think that that's crazy.
Yeah, so Baylor, same question. And here, this would make a great question about, the new just apple of everybody's eye, Texas Tech. Baylor last year, who's their best win on their schedule? Because you would probably say Texas Tech, who they beat by 24. And does that make you a good team if you're Texas Tech? If a bunch of average teams, we say, yeah, Tech was probably their best win, you couldn't beat any of them. Like, who was Tech's best win last year?
No, I mean,
Arizona State, when they got them it's Arizona State, but they got them very first conference game that they've ever played on the road in Lubbock. And outside of that, they did beat Iowa State. That's why they've got a weird year. Like, they lost the teams they shouldn't have lost to last year. And
I mean, you're exactly right. Like, this is the point that I've been trying to make about like the reservations that I've had with Baylor and TCU all offseason is like Baylor, they beat Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, TCU, West Virginia, Houston, KU to end the year. None of those teams were really that great.
Yeah.
Like Oklahoma State, Houston, and KU and West Virginia were all just flat out bad. Like I know Houston beat K-State, whatever. All 4 of those teams were bad. And Texas Tech and TCU were just okay. But then like you look, and then Baylor lost to Colorado, BYU, Iowa State. Like the 3 pretty good teams on their schedule they lost to, and then they got boat raced by LSU in a game that was closer to a blowout than a 13-point loss.
Yeah, it was not that close. And so then on the Texas Tech front, like you look at them, you would say with TCU, yeah, I don't think you're going to beat any of the great teams on your schedule this year, which, outside of however many, I don't know who you would classify there. They play Arizona State. Well, they play SMU, Arizona State, K-State, Iowa State. That's probably that crew, maybe Baylor. Like, I don't think you're going to beat those teams. I have no reason to assume that you will beat those teams based on how you performed last year. Whereas Texas Tech is the total opposite, where like they go into it off of what they've done in last year. And so you say they could beat everybody on their schedule. They could also, and this isn't true for many Big 12 teams, they could lose to absolutely anybody not named Arkansas Pine Bluff that's on their schedule. And even then, we know Texas Tech, it seems like every year they're flirting in that FCS game on ESPN Plus, like going to overtime or something with somebody.
Okay, they can lose to anybody on their schedule that's not Arkansas, Pine Bluff, or Kent State. Kent State might win 0 games.
Yeah,
but
true.
like,
is Jaron Lewis still there?
No, I don't think so actually. But like, if
Ty Thomas,
no, he's at Washburn. But like, if we woke up on September 14th and Texas Tech had a loss to Oregon State, like I don't even think Oregon State's going to be is going to be anything. But last year's Washington State team wasn't great and kind of beat the crap out of Texas Tech last year.
Yeah,
like,
and the other thing that would be scary if you're a Texas Tech fan is the fact that like you could lose those games at home too. Like They were, they lost home games last year against Baylor by 24 and Colorado by 14. Like, you could lose these games at home. It's not like you're immune if you're at home. At least for K-State, the last couple of seasons, you look at what's gone on with their schedule, and they've lost a home game every single year. But when all is said and done, you go and look at it and you go, okay, you lost at home to Arizona State, the Big 12 champ last year. Checks out. 2022, you lost at home to Tulane, Cotton Bowl winner, and you lost to Texas. Like, okay, makes sense. Like, that happens. You lost to teams that were legit, were better than you. But K-State doesn't have a loss at home. Like, they beat the snot out of Oklahoma State last year. They beat KU. They beat the crap out of Cincinnati. They beat the snot out of Arizona. So,
this is why this league this year is just so fascinating, because there's so many returners, there's so many returning coaches, there's so many returning quarterbacks, but everybody has like one or two or more games that you look from last year, like, what the hell was going on there?
Yeah.
All
right.
Texas Tech almost lost to Oklahoma State last year. We didn't even really mention that.
True. Well, Oklahoma State, they were scrappy for a little bit there. Let's play a little Beat the Media guide to close things out. If you are just taking in this wonderful game, I go through the K-State Media Guide, and we just find a little list in there in the record books and ask Drew a question, and he has to try and get all the people that show up on these lists. So are you ready to play today, Drew?
Yeah, I'm in a better headspace than I was last week. That actually is a lie. I'm kind of feeling the exact same, but like, I'm gonna pretend like we're feeling a lot better. I have a notepad this week, like, for feeling good, because I can actually write down my guesses.
Okay, well, I've got one here for you today. We'll do a couple, because this first one is only a $5, and let's see. I need silence as I grab my pen. I grabbed a bad one. Anyways, okay.
That's immediately what I did as well.
First one for you. Not going to be a fun one to talk about.
Oh, yay.
Can you name the 5 opponents that K-State has allowed the most points in a game against in school history? Now, there are some repeats on here, at least one repeat. So you would have to give me just how that team as many times as it happened. So, for example, if all of these were the Topeka YMCA back in 1924, you would have to say Topeka YMCA 5 times. Now, if it was 5 different types of teams, you'd say Topeka YMCA, Chapman High School, the Fort Riley Red Cross women's nurses team from 1914 or whatever, that type of thing.
So I also have to say, like,
I don't need the year or anything, and you can try to guess how many points are on here as well. Maybe that's what I make the next one, but I just want to see if you can get the teams that have scored the most in a game against K-State all time.
Do I technically get it wrong if I say, like, the team and then the number, and the number is not correct?
No, you get, it's just the team you're getting credit for. I do want to see what your guess is on points, though.
Okay, I'm gonna say Oklahoma's definitely on this list somewhere.
Yep. Okay.
And I'm gonna say that they're probably on it like twice, and K-State has probably allowed like 50. They've at least allowed 55 in a game to OU, and I'm gonna say that's the most.
That's not even top 5 for most allowed in a game in K-State history.
That is insane.
And I'll tell you this: 2 of these games have taken place when we were alive that are on this list. And all of them that are on this list have come in conference games. So you want 2 of these to be accredited to Oklahoma, correct?
Yes.
That is correct. So you've got 2 accurate. Do you want to guess what the number is for Oklahoma?
I'm going to say is 59.
You're still way too low.
Still too low. I'm going to say 62.
Still way too low.
68.
You are aggressively low.
77?
Oh, very close. 76 is the most allowed in a game by K-State. The Sooners did it in 1942 in Norman against K-State. And then in 1971, Oklahoma put up 75 points in Manhattan.
So if Oklahoma's on this list, Nebraska probably is as well.
Nebraska is on this list one time. They are the third most points allowed in a game by K-State.
Okay, so if 76 was the most, I'm going to say Nebraska had a game where they scored like 71.
Really, really close. 73 for Nebraska in 2007.
As I would say, that was the game that was on Versus. I remember that. One that kind of sticks out to me because of the season, and I was looking at how wild this season ended up being. Is Texas Tech also on here?
No, Texas Tech is not on
Ooh,
here. You have I'll give you a little help here. Again, both conference opponents at the time, and one, you still have one available from when we were alive. I gave you that hint. And then the other one happened the year before Bill Snyder arrived in Manhattan.
Okay, so I'm going to say, just kind of thinking back to like eras, is one of them Colorado?
No, incorrect.
So
you got one guess left here.
One guess left. I'm going to go Oklahoma State.
Incorrect. You're gonna kick yourself over this. Oklahoma was on the list one more time. They scored 70 in 1988. Oh. And then I can't believe it's probably a good thing you tucked this one out of your memory. I think there were probably a lot of people listening that remember this one. Texas in 2020 scored 69 points.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't count. Pandemic season.
Yep. Well, that's true. As we all know, COVID year didn't count for anything in sports. Unless you won it, cool. Have your trophy. Call yourself the champs of that year. You did win that year. It doesn't mean anything for the long term of your program history. Okay, let's flip this around then, and let's try and go and see. Well, let me scroll up, and I'll get you some offensive records, and we're just going to have you tell me the. This will get a little tough on you, but I'll give you a little more hints here. Can you give me the 11 highest scoring games for K-State in program history? Let me just tally to see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of these have happened since I was born. 7 of them have happened since you were born. So there's a little cutoff in there. And then the others on this list, every game on here was coached by Bill Snyder, except for 2 of them that took place a long, long time ago. Like I would like before World War I even started.
Oh boy. So are all 11 of these games unique teams?
There are, yes, I think they are all unique teams. And as I look at it, only 2 of them are conference opponents.
Yep, this is where it's going to get wild. Ball State, I believe, is number 1.
Ball State is number 1, 76 points in 2000. You're a real ball knower.
For some reason, I remember like hearing about that game a lot in my childhood.
Well, I would say then if you're, going through here and evaluating some of these and games that you would have heard about in your childhood and in lore for whatever reason, there's another one on here that is significant that gets brought up a lot, but I'll let you keep going through this list.
Okay. I'm going to say I'm kind of upset that Texas Tech 2010 wasn't on this list. Is the Texas A&M 2010 game on the 0.4?
No, it just misses out. This might Well, I can't give that to you. It would give away one of the answers too much. I was going to give you what the lowest scoring output is on here, but I'm not going to do that. I think that would ruin it.
KU is probably on here.
KU is on here. Any guess on what year?
Was this the 02 64-0?
Yep, 02, 64 points. So there you go. And that there is one other team that K-State has scored 64 points against. They are the other team on this list.
That doesn't help me at all, to be honest.
Let's let you know where your range was, 76 to 64.
Okay, so if 64 is on this list and 62 isn't, but was close, is Florida Atlantic on this list?
Florida Atlantic is not on this list.
That actually blows. I thought that I was cooking with something when 63 to 7.
Yeah, well, they're a point away from being on this list.
Okay, so 64 is the low number.
Yeah.
So late 90s, K-State played a game against, I think it was Indiana State. I'm going to guess that they probably scored a bunch of points.
Yep, they scored 66 on the Sycamores in 1998.
Okay.
You've got 6 available guesses left. You are 3 for 5 so far.
The fact that there's another conference opponent on here.
Oh, by the way, I lied. There's actually a third game on here that happened pre-World War I.
Oh, sick. Yeah, I can't wait for that. Let's see. I'm trying to think of like games that K-State just beat the crap out of somebody.
Also one more amendment. There is another game on here that Bill Snyder was not the coach for.
Okay. I'm gonna say,
but this was not one of the pre-World War I games.
That's where I thought that I was cooking with FAU. I'm gonna go like is like Missouri.
Missouri is the other conference opponent, 66 in 1999.
Okay.
Bill loved killing Missouri and KU.
Which also means that Iowa State is not on this list. So correct. Now this is, and Bill also loved killing Iowa State.
They were a sacrificial lamb many times.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. Can I get some hints? Because like non-conference, there's a game with Indiana State on the schedule that I got.
So let's. There is a. How well do you know your sub Division I schools in the region?
I mean, moderately well.
Okay, so do you know of what Division II school, a private Division II institution in Springfield, Missouri? Do you know who that is?
The private D2 school is there is one answer that is like yelling my name, but I don't think is right. That like I just can't get it out of my mind.
There's a hotel chain with the same name as this school.
Oh boy. Is this a Drury?
It is. That is correct. Number 2 on the list, all the way back in 1910, 75 points.
That is actually insane.
I can tell you that one of these games happened on Ron Prince's watch. One of these games came against a program that doesn't have football anymore.
Is that Wichita State?
That is Wichita State. 71 against the Shockers in 1909.
I'm going to say that one of the games that happened on Ron Prince's watch, was it against a MAC school?
No, it was not against a MAC school. It was against a Big Sky school.
Oh, boy.
a school that K-State has played in basketball semi-recently.
Is it Montana State?
Oh, good save. It is Montana State. 69 against the Bobcats in 2008.
Nice.
You have 2 guesses remaining. There is another like animal that you could throw out here that was not like your run-of-the-mill type. You've got you find this animal typically in the outback, I would say. You are missing I think one that I'm surprised you haven't gotten yet, because there's a significant play from that game in K-State history. And this was K-State almost had these points by halftime of this game.
Okay. Can I get like an era?
It's a Bill game.
Yeah, I kind of gathered that.
K-State had 56 points in the first half with 2 seconds left, and they had 59 points when they went to halftime.
Let's think here. I'm just trying to think of like, because there aren't any repeats on the schedule or on here.
I'm also a bad host. Forgot to cue the music today. Sorry, folks.
I may be out. This is where the going has gotten real tough.
Okay. Don't speak. Let me list these off to you. You've got a dog, a version of a dog as an answer still. You have a bird as an answer still. You have that mysterious animal from the outback as an answer still. And you have a team that their home state is the Land of Enchantment. So those are your options for your final 2 guesses.
Okay. The mysterious animal on the outback is the one that's really getting me. Is New Mexico the Land of Enchantment? Answer.
Oh, that's wrong. You should have gone with the other one. It's New Mexico State.
Yeah, that's a killer.
1 guess left. Boy, I don't know. I feel like I've given you a lot to work with to get one more with the outback. You don't. I mean, you don't know what animals you see if you're down in the land down under.
I do, but like there's like a couple that I'm like, there's no. Okay. So is Akron one of the answers?
Yeah, they scored 67 against Akron in 1995. That is one of the answers. So there you go. The ones that have been left off here for you, Northern Illinois in 1998. That was the one I was trying to heavily hint at. That was the Martin Gramatica record field goal game that he hit just before the half. It was 59-7 at halftime of that game. And then UL Monroe in 2002. So the Warhawks, K-State scored 68 points against. So that's where you're missing some things. So
that one a lot tougher than points against, because those were all conference games.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
And then like, the Wichita State and Drury being on here, insane.
Yeah. All right, you've got 12 points. You have time for one more. You want to try and redeem yourself? I'll try to make it a little bit easier for you.
Yeah, let's go one more.
Okay. Do you want a team related question or a player related question?
We'll go another team related question.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. What do we want to do? I'm trying to find a good one for you. Folks, this is how it goes. I do the ones that speak to me.
The only animal, by the way, that I could think of from the outback for a long time was a koala.
Yeah, and I don't even or koalas. I don't think that's an Australia thing, is it?
It is.
Interesting. Why did I think? Oh yeah, it is Australia. What was I? Maybe I was getting my bears confused. And koala's not even a bear, is what some people. That's what you got to realize.
Koala is like its own thing,
and they're actually pretty aggressive, which is people don't think that. I was thinking of pandas. They're more of an Asian bear.
Yes.
Let's see here. Well, I kind of like that one, but I didn't. You said you wanted a team one, right? I don't like that. I want to do something different.
We can do another.
That would be
we
tough.
Could do an individual.
I'm looking there. You'd have a chance at this one. You'd have zero chance of naming one of the guys on here, but we're gonna do it anyways.
Of course.
All right, let me get this ready. I promise you've only picked 5, but there's actually it's 5 tandems here. So you've got a possible 10 answers to give me, even though I'm only giving you 5 occasions. So dim the lights. Here we go. Ryan Seacrest style, playing the music for you. Your question, Drew. There have been 14 double 100-yard receiving games in K-State history. Give me the players that made up the top 5 in total yards, and I will give you the yardage. I don't know if that helps or not. The most is 321 yards by a duo in a game, then 310, then 308, then 300, and then 282.
Okay, well, the first one I think is Tyler Lockett and Curry Sexton.
That is actually number 2 on the list with 310. That came against TCU in 2014. Tyler Lockett with 196, Curry Sexton with 114.
Another one that I'm thinking of some of them, and I'm like.
Also, this might give it away for if we ever did this again or tried some other variation. Tyler Lockett and Curry Sexton is on this list 4 more times. So they did it a total of 5 times in their career where they both had 100 yards or more receiving in a game.
Were they all in 2014?
One of them came in 2013. And also what's hilarious about that is that, one was also in 2015, believe it or not. Oh, no, never mind. That's a bowl game. Doesn't really count. It just said 2015 because it was the Alamo Bowl on January 2nd. Tyler Lockett also has a game on here that he did it with somebody else, but that's not in the top 5. He did it with Tremaine Thompson against North Dakota State in 2013.
Wow, that is actually shocking to hear.
Another hilarious double 100-yard game. RJ Garcia and Ben Sinnott against SEMO is on this list.
Okay. I'm going to say, because some of these are probably I'm going to guess that a lot of these other ones are Bill 1.0.
Yeah, here, let me do this for you too. Because in the top 5, there's another game that there's 2 instances of the same duo. So I want a unique combination here. I will drop down the list. So that includes a 244 total yard performance. So I'm banging out one of these because the same 2 guys did it multiple times to be in this top 5. If that's not confusing for people.
98 feels like it probably is the one that is a season that would have one on here because you had Aaron Lockett and Darnell McDonald. So I'm going to go with them.
Yeah, that's a great guess because those 2 guys, they're the ones that did it twice. First against UL Monroe in 98, Aaron Lockett 188, Darnell McDonald 120. And then in the game against Nebraska in 98, Darnell McDonald 183, Aaron Lockett 117. So yes, they are on here. You are still missing the top duo in a single game receiving all time. And then you also have another at 282 And then the next one that you would go down to is 244.
We're gonna stay in the family and say that Kevin Lockett and Andre Coleman probably did it.
That's a fantastic guess. Yes, another Lockett. Kevin and Andre did it against Nebraska in 1993 up in Lincoln. 143 for Kevin, 139 for Andre Coleman.
And these next two, I don't even think that I have a remote guess.
3 of these 4 guys remaining, you've definitely heard of. We've definitely talked about. The other one, I mean, I have fond memories of this game, and I don't even remember it happening. And then on top of that, I mean, 2 of the guys are pretty, like, legitimately iconic in K-State football history.
Okay.
Which I know I'm giving you a lot of hints and help here, and that may defeat the fun out of it for people. But I like seeing you get things right, Drew.
They're like legitimately iconic.
Yes.
Like, are you saying?
I'm not going to define what I mean by that.
Okay. So some people would say that like legitimately iconic would be like Frank Hernandez's catch against North Texas.
Oh, well, I might be one of those people that would say that.
So I'm going to say that he is maybe one, but I have no idea who the
Frank Hernandez is one of them. So you're halfway home for his duo. He had 137 against Western Illinois, the Leathernecks.
But I have no idea who the other guy could be.
You should, though.
Okay. Now I gotta like think back to like watching the videos from like that era. Oh, is Michael Smith the other one?
Yes, it is Michael Smith, 107 in that game. I was about to say if you struggle more, I was gonna say, well, he's also a receiver that ended up turning into a coach, but that would have also have given it away pretty easily. Yeah, you're still missing the top game of all time in this category.
Like I don't even know who it could be if it's none of these duos. You said that you have fond memories of the top game, so we were alive for it.
I'm actually realizing that I lied. I have fond memories of the game that was played the year prior against this team.
Okay, so
that might help you even more.
We've done a lot of stuff from like mid 2000s. Have we seen highlights from this specific game?
We saw one, but I can't even remember if that was one of the receivers that caught the pass that we saw.
Did a running back throw the ball?
No, a running back did not throw the ball.
Okay. Is this? Well, okay. If I ask who was the coach, does that give it away?
No.
Who was the coach?
Not going to answer that.
What was that?
This is a mind game. Is it I don't care that you know who the coach is, or is it that I really care that you know who the coach is? The only opponent in this, Drew, is really yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that's valid. I'm going to say, is it like a Chris Harper, Tremaine Thompson game where they both somehow went off?
That is going to be incorrect. How dare you not know that the best double 100-yard game in K-State history belongs to Brandon Banks and Ernie Pierce in 2008 against Oklahoma.
This is the first time I've heard the name Ernie Pierce probably since 2008.
I mean, I didn't even hear his name in 2008. Ernie, who are you?
Do you want to come on the show, Ernie?
I mean, I never in my life. I was like, who? What? Ernie Pierce, just for people that know, caught balls in a total of 12 games at K-State in his career. Never caught more than 4, except one time when he caught 11 passes for 176 yards in a 58-35 loss to Oklahoma in 2008.
I just saw an article from 2018 where Ernie Pierce was working with Clint Boyer in NASCAR.
Is the same Ernie Pierce?
Yes. Ryan Black wrote it. R.I.P. Ryan Black.
Wow.
Not dead.
Wow. Well, that is insane. Yeah, I'm seeing here right now a clip from Sport Clips from 2019 about he was on Eric Jones's pit crew. Shares what he loves about Father's Day. So there you go. Wow.
Only time I've ever heard of this guy.
All right. Well, dang. I was not familiar with your game, Ernie.
Same.
That's, wild. What a pipeline K-State has going from football players to pit crew members. Because who's the other one that's doing it now?
That I could not tell you. This says that he was a jack man for Clint Boyer in 2018.
Oh, there's somebody fairly recently that we would. I think it's Max Marsh. Is who it is. Yeah, Max Marsh is he's the front tire changer for
front tire changer.
Dude, that's a big deal.
I just found Ernie Pierce on LinkedIn, I believe.
Oh, ask him if he wants to connect.
I did just find Ernie Pierce on LinkedIn.
Wow. Well, what a show that was today, folks. Did not think this would take an hour. Glad you stayed with us. If you did, if you didn't, you're not going to hear this anyways, and you don't want to talk to us either. So, well, let's end this thing. Hey, let's go out with a bang. Let's just play the old FSN theme since Ernie Pierce and Brandon Banks. You would have heard it a lot during that game. Shout out to Ernie Pierce. Somebody's going to be mad that we didn't know who that was, by the way. That always happens. And it's like, oh, can't know them all. I was 10. That team sucked. I was probably riding the bench at my youth football game that day.
Another one. If you have full highlights of that game, send that our way.
Don't send them our way. I don't care to watch.
I want to know. I want to see the Ernie Pearson legacy game.
Go watch the 2007 highlights against Oklahoma. Much more fun game that K-State lost than 2008. But I think there was a Josh Freeman pass we saw from that. It was like some kind of rifle that he had in that game.
I don't think that it was to either Banks or Ernie Pierce, which makes this funny.
Yeah, let me stick with us, folks. You would have thought, hey, they're playing us out. Maybe we should just end it right now. No, I'm going to go find it while everybody's here. Let's see. I have found the video. Here's the deal. This game was close, actually. 9 minutes to go in the second quarter. It's 28-21. K-State at the 23-yard line. Freeman drops back, evades pressure, rolls out of the pocket, towards the sideline, heaves it down the field. That ball's a bomb inside the 20, caught by Ernie Pierce, and a flag on the play.
Oh, I love it.
All right. So we did see Ernie Pierce catch a ball. No wonder I didn't remember, though. Didn't know who he was. Thought he was probably a walk-on or something. All right. We'll see you. Talk to you tomorrow.